What's going on, brother? Peace, peace to everybody out there.
The church in America is going to suffer so terribly. And we laugh now, but they will come after us. They will come after our children. They will close the net around us while we are playing soccer mom and soccer dad, while we are arguing over so many little things and mesmerized by so many trinkets. The net even now is closing around you and your children and your grandchildren, and it does not cause you to fear. You will be isolated from society, as has already happened. Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. We will be called things that we're not and persecuted not for being followers of Christ, but for being radical fundamentalists who do not know the true way of Christ, which of course is love and tolerance. You go down as the greatest bigots and haters of mankind in history. They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them. They got them through the public schools and indoctrination and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord. It's because you fed them right into the devil's mouth. So little by little, the net is closing around, and then it's not little by little. Look how fast things are going downhill just in a matter of weeks. But at the same time, know this: persecution is always meant for evil, but God always means it for good. And is it not better to suffer in this life to have an extra weight of glory in heaven? You must settle this in your mind. This is the one thing I want to say over and over. Down through history, you have a wrong idea of martyrdom and persecution. You think that these men were persecuted and martyred for their sincere faith in Jesus Christ. That was the real reason, but no one heard that publicly. They were martyred and they were persecuted as enemies of the state, as bigots, as narrow-minded, stupid people who had fallen for a ruse and can contribute nothing to society. Your suffering will not be noble. So your mind must be filled with the Word of God when all people persecute you and turn on you. This is no game. You want revival and awakening, but know this: for the most part, great awakenings have come only preceding great national catastrophes of the persecution of the church. I believe God is bringing a great awakening, but I believe that He is raising up young men who are strong in trust in the providence of God to be able to wade through the hell that's going to break loose on us. And it will be on us before we even recognize it, unless in God's providence, He is not done. He is not done.
So I think there are lots of interesting discoveries, biological, on Earth, and other discoveries in the heavens that those of you who are younger will get to see unfold. You'll have all kind of problems with them, but on balance, it'll be a plus. And it'll make life much more interesting.
I do think, first of all, that there are a number of impersonal forces which are pushing in the direction of less and less freedom. And I also think that there are a number of technological devices which anybody who wishes to use can use to accelerate this process of going away from freedom, of imposing control.
We have 300 million panoramic lenses in the near-cortex, by my estimate. That hierarchy we build ourselves, that each of these panoramic lenses is capable of connecting itself to other neocortexes. To build this hierarchy, we build that hierarchy from them. Before that, we're going to put these gateways. This is a gateway to the cloud. We're going to put gateways to the cloud in our brains and have more than 300 million.
This threat is not new. But technology and the internet increase its frequency. And In some cases, it's lethality. Today, a person can consume hateful propaganda, commit themselves to a violent agenda, and learn how to kill without leaving their home.
I see virtual reality as a way not of escaping any notion of empirical reality, but as a way of re-portraying invisible levels of the given world that are very vital and important to us.
They are persuaded that silent conscious beings value their life. That was what we discussed. We go back to alchemy. The philosopher's stone was a literal human certified. It was kind of a universal vaccine. Well, lo and behold, what they are searching for is psychotherapy, the philosopher's stone.
Now I'm going to get into the great tree of knowledge and the wisdom that has been denied us by someone who does not want us to have this knowledge. Who this someone is, I don't know. I wish I did. You know, John Lash, the great Nag Hammadi scholar, he says the Nag Hammadi texts, which were found 2,000 years ago in Egypt, or they were buried 2,000 years ago in Egypt and found in 1947. And what's great about the Nag Hammadi is they haven't been tainted by anyone. No pope, no politician, no historian has rewritten anything in there. So we're reading exactly what they wanted us to read 2,000 years ago. Okay? Nobody's got their meat on it. No spin. Nag Hammadi says that about 1,600 years ago before them, or about 3,600 years ago, the earth was invaded by something called the Archons, which is close to the Anunnaki. And they don't say they're beings. They describe it more like a virus, an off-planet virus. And these Archons came, and what these Archons are is they do not possess the divine essence that we possess. And they're really jealous of us for that. And so they're creating a world, this is what the Nag Hammadi says, a simulated world all around us. It's all simulated. And what it is trying to show that they can create everything that the God has created, the beautiful earth and the flowers and everything. They can do just as good a job as nature can do, only they do it fake. And the point of the Archons, according to Nag Hammadi, is to make you think that their reality is the reality, not the real reality. So I suspect that's who told us we can't have the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Because once you understand what is going on here, you can free yourself of the Archons. And I believe the Archons are here. And I believe they're everywhere. And I think they are a virus.
Atlantis, Mu, Arcadia, the Holy Grail, the Philosopher's Stone. They all share a similar fable of something lost sought to be regained. According to the ancient mystery religions, the Garden of Eden was not a physical location on Earth, but quite literally a spiritual dimension synonymous to the heavens above. Moreover, it was believed that the sacred stone responsible for the mysterious qualities to mind and matter also came from this enigmatic point in time and space. In Celtic mythology, an immortal named Arthur of Camelot will one day return at some future time from the Isle of Avalon. Avalon in Welsh means apple, giving rise to the false notion that the fruit from the forbidden tree of knowledge, which God forbid Adam and Eve to eat, was in fact an apple. In Greek mythology, Apollo is known as the god of knowledge and light, wisdom and divination, music and medicine, and even prophecy. In the Hellenistic period, he became known as the Titan, god of the sun. His twin sister Artemis was known as Selene, or the moon goddess. The Book of Acts mentions what the city of Ephesus believed to be the origin of Artemis. Quote, "And when the town clerk had quieted the crowd, he said, 'Men of Ephesus, who is there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is temple keeper of the great Artemis and of the sacred stone that fell from the sky?'" The Muslim Kaaba stone is yet another creation myth that mentions a sacred stone which fell from heaven to earth. The stone was thought to be a fragment of the first paradise. Islamic author Ibn Abbas states, quote, "Muhammad said, 'Indeed, the Islamic teaching of the origin of Adam say that the paradise in which he lived and was subsequently expelled was not even on the earth.'" According to historian Rundle Clark, the Egyptian creation myth mentions a stone that fell from heaven called the Benben stone. This stone was believed to bring the vital essence of life from what is called the Isle of Fire. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, believed to have been written by Thoth, the father of alchemy, tells of the place where the life essence of humanity originates, Neter Kurt, which means island or mountain of God. The mysterious regenerative qualities of the stone have also been long associated with the rising phoenix, which has its connections with the ancient city of Phoenicia, otherwise known as Sidon or Tyre. The city of Tyre is mentioned in the book of Isaiah, where the king of Tyre is overlaid with the description of Satan, who had fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. It is evident that with this brief survey of ancient creation myths, these occult traditions have forever been the common thread between the practices of esoteric spirituality like alchemy, Hermeticism, and Kabbalah, but also of the secret orders such as the Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and even the Illuminati. The late Christian prophecy author David Flynn summarized, quote, "The common thread within most ancient creation stories was the union of the celestial and terrestrial at a particular time of unparalleled upheaval and change. The marriage of heaven and earth gave birth to the worldwide legends of the gods who descended from the heavens."
Man, that boy dropping some jewels. He dropping some jewels. Let me get on up out of this real quick, and we're going to get into what we got to get into. Wayne, what's going on, man?
What's going on, G Kai? How you doing, bro?
Peace, brother. Get up out of that real quick. All right, for those that's listening in, tonight, we're going to do it again. We're going to be dealing with Daniel 70 weeks. Daniel 70 weeks tonight. So we're going to be in the book of Daniel mainly all night. It ain't going to be all night because I'm trying to get this done within like 30 to 45 minutes so I can go lay it on down. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. So let me jump to something. Let me pull my script up. You see that video I put up that Kenya Shire?
Yeah, I just caught a little bit of it when I came in.
That brother be going in, man.
Yeah, you got to send me that link to that vid so I can see what he was talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely send it to you because all the stuff that we see these brothers to be talking about in this group is the same stuff that they talking about right there, and it's gonna shock you. You're gonna be like, "Wow, man, all this stuff." Like we be hearing it, and we probably just let it bypass us. But then when we understand what's behind it, then we start looking and saying, "Man, that's what them brothers was talking about all that time, man." They was talking about basically dealing with mystery schools and all types of secret science and man, so much stuff they got going on, man. And These brothers, man, they been talking that talk, the lingo all the time, and we ain't been peeping it. It's just been sliding right past us.
I feel you.
Let me see. Jump to Daniel. Daniel 9 and 24. Reason why I'm bringing out this text, y'all, is because this is something that a lot of people don't deal with. You know, when we talk about prophecy, or the seers, or those that can see what's going to take place in the future, nobody wants to deal with these things. So I have to take the initiative to go off into it. You know, we got the brother BA here. What's going on? Peace, brother.
Shalom, brother.
Peace, peace. So yeah, so I have to go off into it because this is the stuff that you don't see people dealing with. So it has to be definitely dealt with. You know, I try to bring things from a perspective of dealing with historical things, you know, God's plan for man overall, and then also in general just the prophetic, you know, science, you know, so all of those things I try to deal with, you know, if I can't really deal with it, then we got brothers that's actually dealing with it. You know, I'm not the greatest speaker, but for the most part, you know, y'all get me what I'm saying. So, you know, I think that when we stick to the text, I think that we better anoint it in the text rather than anything else. So we know where our strength lie at. So, you know, we stay close to this. We tend to get outside of the text sometime and deal with other things. But for the most part, when we stick to this text, then that's where our anointing lie at right there. That's where it's at right there. So what we have here is Daniel 9 and 24. I'm going to read this real quick and then expound on it and break this down. We're just going to stay in this chapter today. If we need to go outside of it, then we will. But for the most part, we're going to stay in this chapter because everything we need is in this chapter, actually. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So right then and there, he's telling you 70 weeks. We know that in dealing with Hebrew, let's look that up, matter of fact. Shipping. 70 or 70 basically. 70 basically. So basically 70 weeks. Let's look up weeks, you know, so we can get some understanding what a week is. Shavuot is a what does it say? Properly passive participle as a denominative of literal 70 week, specifically of years, 7 week, basically. So when you look at it and you're dealing with it, you know that in Hebrew, or when you're dealing with the Israelites, a week is considered of 7 days. So that's understandable. So he said we have 70 weeks. So we know already that a week is consist of 70 days. So when we total it out, we have 490 years to be exact. So just to get that up, get some understanding with that. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, or 400 years are determined upon thy people, and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins. Matter of fact, let's stop right there. You notice he says to finish the transgression. All right, so that's one thing. Jot that down, tally that. And to make an end of sins. That's point number 2. And to make reconciliation for iniquity. That's 3. And to bring in everlasting righteousness. That's 4. And to seal up the vision and prophecy. That's 5. And to anoint the most holy. 6 things that we see here that must be accomplished in this 70 weeks or this 490 year period. as we look at this. And this thing is determined upon the people and upon the holy city. Understand that. Understand that. Let's jump down a little bit more. Let's move this a little bit up right there. Hold on, I didn't jump all the way to the next chapter. There we go. Where am I at? Alright, so look. Oh, this thing be tripping me out when it be doing this. Alright, so look. As we see, there's 6 things that need to be accomplished here once again. It says, verse 25, we're in Daniel 9 and 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Let's get some understanding here. Let's get some understanding here. Let's get some understanding. So we see that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem. Now we know already that there was 3 decrees. But as you see here, he said that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem. Understand that Zerubbabel came forth. The commandment was given by Cyrus. He came forth and he gave us the commandment, and they was released, so to speak. And they began to build the temple. Underline that, the temple. So under Zerubbabel and Ezra was the building of the temple, right? So the work was stopped, and when the work was stopped, then the work was started back up again, and they began to finish to build again when it was started back up, right? So then later on, up under Nehemiah, up under him, matter of fact, let's jump to it. We might as well jump to it. We ain't got nothing to, you know, we can get right to it. That's what we need to do. Let's get right to it. That way we don't get no confusion going. Y'all can see right where I'm going. Let me grab the scripture real quick. Let's just grab this scripture real quick. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's jump to Nehemiah 2 and 1. Nehemiah 2 and 1. That's it. Nehemiah 2 and 1. I got a little cold, y'all. I'm trying to shake this weather, so you know. Nehemiah 2 and 1, man. Pop right there. Alright, so look. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes, the king, the wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad? Watch this. Key in what Nehemiah finna say. When the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lie waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire. Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven and said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, For how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. Look at this. See, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. Even the king knows the anointing that's on the servant of God. He knows it so much that he says, look, when are you going to return? So even the king understand that wherever these people will go, even though that they was oppressed, that they will bring that anointing with them, those that was anointing that had and showed it, that this thing will carry with them, and these people will be a blessing in these people's life. He was so important to Artaxerxes that he didn't want to let the brother go. Watch this. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let the letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come unto Judah. In other words, this king got so much power that he rules all the way over the Euphrates, all the way into the land of Judah. And look, all he need to do is just send his word or send that letter. It reminds me of the biblical text when the centurion said, Lord, you ain't even got to come, for I'm unworthy for you to come into my household. He said, but speak your word. That's what he told Jesus. He said, for I am a man of authority just as well. He said, I said to one to go over here and say to the another to go over there, and he doeth it. So what is he saying? This man understood authority. So therefore, because he understood authority, you ain't even got to come to my household. Just speak the word, and I know those that's in your kingdom gonna move, because guess what? Your word is true. So some of us we already know that. We know the authority of Jesus already. We know that authority. Watch this. So just the word that was good enough for him to go on his way and go and have passage to where he needed to go. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which pertaineth to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good of hand of mine. Let me go down a little bit. And to the good hand of my God upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the rivers and gave them the king's letters. Now the king has sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. Look at him, he got the might with him too. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly, that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. Look, let me tell y'all something. Anytime that it's time for you to build something, it's time for the Most High to tell you to put something together, and he has laid something on your heart, you always going to have the enemy right there. The enemy is always going to be right there. Trust me. And you're going to have to build just like Nehemiah and them build, with the sword in the hand and stacking bricks at the same time. Always on guard. Because the enemy, as it was stated the other day by the brother Basim, walks around seeking whom he may devour like a lion. So understand that. So let's jump up a little bit. Let's jump up. Because we want to show y'all what we was trying to get to. We know already that Nehemiah was given this command. And this is when the commandment had actually took place. Let's jump back to Daniel. Jump back to Daniel. Back to Daniel. Let's see where we at. All right, 25. We hear again. 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince. So we know that commandment started with Nehemiah. Nehemiah was during the time of Artaxerxes, as we see, and they say that's 445 BC in that time, so to speak. according to the chronology that they put forth, which is we notice it because this is solid because of synchronisms. We see this dealing with other nations just as well and relative dates. You know, when it gets to when we get to like 664 BC and later, we have some solid synchronisms and solid dates that establish relative dates, and relative dates establish absolute date. A relative date is basically saying that one king met up to battle with the next king, or something took place to where they was trading or building together, and both kings was mentioned from each empire or each nation, and these two basically were met at the same time. So we built a relative date for this to establish a absolute date. So that's how we do that there. We built this chronology, you know, so understand that these dates are just marked by certain time periods. I think that it should be shorter. I don't think it should be 45,000 years, 35,000 years of first pre-dynasty. I think we have them a little bit shorter than that to be actuality. I think that, you know, there's a lot of things that need to be changed around here, but for the most part, they're doing the best they can do, you know, upon the evidence that they got, you know, or somewhat of the evidence that they got. So that's good enough for me. You know, just don't go thinking that you could just base these dates and just slap them around and think you got the victory. Or, you know, there's some great mistakes that's made with this too that can lead a lot of things astray, and a lot of information to a lot of people to go astray. So we see. Let's deal with this. So it says 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, the Messiah, the Prince, should be 7 weeks. 7 weeks, y'all, consist of 49 years, right? We're gonna break these these weeks up. They're broken down into 3 weeks here, and we're gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you that. Let's see how these weeks is broken up. See how these weeks is broken up. As we see, the 7 weeks consist of 49 years. We established that when we started off reading. And we see that 7 weeks there, so it says 7 weeks consist of 49 years, and then the 62 weeks. 62 weeks consist of 434 years, plus remember that 49, which is before. So you have 49 years right here, which consists of 7 weeks, and you have 434 weeks, as we see here, and 62 weeks, basically. So what that means is this: 62 weeks is 62 weeks, basically, as we see. So we have 7 weeks, which is 49 years, and 62 weeks, which is 62 weeks, which equals 434 years. So 434 plus 49 is 483. So we have 483 years. But watch what it's going to say. So we just totaled that out. So let me read it again so y'all can understand it. Know therefore and understand it from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, which is 49 years, and 62 weeks, which is the 62 weeks, which equals 434. So when you total it out, it's 483 years. So 483 years until the Messiah the Prince. It says the street shall be built again, and the wall in troublous times, right? So we get that. We understand that. It says, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. In other words, after 62 weeks. Now remember, this 62 weeks is dealing with the 62 weeks of prayer. So this is 62 weeks. So what is he telling us? He's telling us that after 434 years, after these troublous times right here, after these troublous times, which is 49 years it took to build the wall in the city in Jerusalem, right? It took 52 days, but to build the wall up, but the whole city took 49 years, and it was built in troublous times. So we see the 49 right here. Then it says, and after 62 weeks, which is 62 weeks, after 434 years, the Messiah should be cut off. Now understand this. What this is saying to us, if we took 49 years, added it up to 434 years, after 483 years, the Messiah is going to be cut off. He's going to be cut off, right? So when he cut off, remember, he's cut off before he can complete the 6 things that we talked about up here. Remember, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, upon the holy city, to finish their transgression. That's 1. And to make an end of sins. That's 2. And to make reconciliation for iniquity. That's 3. And to bring in everlasting righteousness. That's 4. And to seal up the vision and prophecy. That's 5. And to anoint the most holy. So he's cut off before he can fulfill the last week. We're going to deal with that last week here in a minute. Let's get off into this a little bit. Let's get off into this. It says, the Messiah prince shall be, it says, hold on, where am I at? And 62 weeks, the street shall be built again, and the wall even into troubled times. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Watch what he says. He's going to be cut off in 483 years. And it says, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. So we know that the Messiah was cut off after 483 years. And then we know that shortly after that, the people of the prince came to destroy the city. Now remember, he can't fulfill any of this up here, these 6 points. He only did partially fulfill them because he's cut off. This is the reason why there's a purpose for the second event, but we're going to get to that. It says that, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. Understand this. The Romans came in 70 AD, right? They came in and they destroyed the city. And mind you not, everything is on halt, everything is on pass. Because once they destroy the city, the Most High is no longer dealing with Israel and the city no more. Understand that. He's not dealing with them as a people in the city no more. He has scattered Israel. And remember, the 70 weeks are determined upon the people in the holy city. But if they're scattered, then guess what? That last week has not started yet. We're going to deal with that, though. We're going to get to that. So we see, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city. The people of the prince. So in other words, there is a prince that is coming. But the people of the prince came and destroyed the city in 70 AD. There is a prince that descend from those people, though. And that is the Antichrist. And we're going to show you that. He's going to be mentioned in verse 27 just as well. Most people ain't got this understanding of that, but I don't, it is what it is. Everybody deal with it differently. But when you look at it, you're going to see what I'm showing you. Real simple. It says, in 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. So in 70 AD, the Romans destroyed the city. Now understand this. When I say Romans, most people are going to look at it and they're going to say, these are all Italians. But anybody that, anybody that have studied during that time what took place in 70 AD, and what transpired during this time, we know that in 70 AD, that in actuality, the legions that was stationed in Jerusalem was not the Italian band, not at all. They had what you call bands in the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was composed of not just Italians. Matter of fact, in 70 AD, I believe, I want to say probably like 22% of the Roman Empire, probably lesser than that, was from the Italian band. The rest was all Asiatics and some down from Africa, and but mainly Asiatics that was stationed in Jerusalem at that time. Syria and all of these people were stationed during that time. These are the people that he put over Israel during that time. So you had a gang of Arabs during that time that was over them, so to speak, as we look at the text, actually. That was put over them Even when they was transpiring, doing business, these people was put over them. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick to let you know the people of the Prince does not just consist of the Italian band of Romans, basically. Yes, they're from the Roman Empire, but those centurions that was stationed there, I want to say it was like 6 legions. That's what they call them, 6 legions or bands that was stationed there, and they were all of the Middle East or the eastern portion of the Roman Empire. So let's go a little bit farther. So it says, "And the people of the prince that shall come." The prince that shall come. Underline the prince that shall come. So the people of the prince came to destroy the city. But he himself, this prince, was to come later on because he descends from the people. But we're going to deal with that. Now watch this. It says, "And the end there shall be with a flood." In other words, it's dealing with war. Just war. "And until the end of the war, desolations are determined." Many desolations, many fighting, much chaos in the land. We see that not today. Matter of fact, there has to be a tri-continent war that's coming up pretty soon to gain back the areas of the revised, to establish a revised Roman Empire back again. They need those areas back again. So they're going to revive, well, I won't say revive, revise the Roman Empire, and they're going to mark it up under 10 kings. They're going to decrease it down now because it needs to be decreased down, and they're going to do it to 10 kings. But they have to get much land. So this is due to the fact of there has to be a tri-continental war. What do I mean by that? The continent of Europe, continent of Africa, and also Asia. And also Asia, because those areas over there are prominent to revising the Roman Empire, and they need those areas. They definitely need some of those areas to mark off that revised Roman Empire. It says, and let's go on. "In the end thereof should be with a flood, and to the end of the war, desolations are determined." And watch this. This he right here that we're dealing with relates to the prince that shall come. I'm going to show you that. And this is your last week right here. Now, mind you not, this showed you all your other weeks. Your last week has not started yet. Christ was cut off. He couldn't establish those things because he was cut off. So he has to establish those things. And we're going to jump back up to Daniel 9:24 because I want to read off some of these things that has to be done to let you know that these things were not fully fulfilled and they must be fulfilled. I'm going to show you that. "And 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with a flood until the end of the war. Desolations are determined." Watch this. "And he who," we call this the Antichrist, "and he, the Antichrist, shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week." In other words, he's going to confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. That 1 week consists of the last week of the ages of that dispensation, and that 1 week is a 7-year period. So look at this now. We see we got up here, as we read before, we see already it says 70 weeks are determined, right? So let's do the math on this. That from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. There go a division right there of those weeks right there. That 7 weeks right there consists of 49 years, right? All right, so then it says, "And 62 weeks." That 62 weeks is 62 weeks. And that equals out to 434 years. So if you add that 49 plus that 434, you get 483. Watch this. So the last week that we see this mentioned down here, and something is to be confirmed, and we're going to deal with that. Most people will say this is the Messiah verse. This is not the Messiah verse. They will try to say that, but it is not. I'm going to show you why it's not. Remember I told you he was cut off. He was cut off to where he couldn't do these things that was in Daniel 9 and 24. It says, and he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. In other words, this Antichrist is going to confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease. Underline, he in the midst of the week. In other words, 3.5 years into the covenant that he confirmed that was for 1 week or 7 years, he's going to cause the sacrifices to cease. I told y'all earlier that we was just going to try to stick to the book of Daniel. But you know what? I was wrong with that, because we need to go out of the book of Daniel real quick, and I need to show y'all something real quick in the book of Revelations. Revelations is the book that is the the last week, the last 7 years of this age to Christ come back into the earth, before he come back on the heathens. Jump to Revelations. Where we at? Revelations, where is it at? Revelations 11. Bada bing, bada bam. Now I'm jumping to this text for a reason, because I'm going to show you that, you notice I just read over in Daniel, it says he's going to cause the sacrifices to cease and the oblations. Those are your daily sacrifices, your evening, your morning, and your evening morning oblations. He's going to cause those to cease. We're going to show you that. Chapter 11. And there was given to me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar. Underline, measure the temple of God and the altar. This is Revelations chapter 11. John is given this this revelation on the Isle of Patmos during the time of the Mashiach, I believe. I think that was around about 90 AD. This is after 70 AD. And he's exported to this island, and he's kept prisoner because of the testimony and the word of God. John is told specifically, write those things which thou hast seen. Underline that. John seen a vision, and the vision was of Christ. And he wrote the vision of Christ, right? So then later on, and when you get down to the end of that chapter 1, John is told to write the things which are. And then he begins to talk about the church, because those are the things that which are. This is what you call the church age now. This is what this is. Now watch what he says after this. Write the things. Matter of fact, let's jump to it, because I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying this or I'm making this up, but this is real deal, and this is Holyfield. Let's jump to it. You see John, I'm pointing to this for y'all to see my screen. I'm pointing to it. He sees a vision and all these different things. Let's see what he's going to tell John. Let's jump up a little bit. Where is it at? Where is it at? Come on with it. Come on with it. Watch what you say. I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom of patience of Jesus Christ, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of God and for the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is the time when the Mashiach was banishing people off to the islands and stuff. Like I say, you was an enemy of the state if you was a Christian. It was illegal to be a Christian, and the Jews made sure that. I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. Right thou, I mean, what, right, what, I'm over here tripping. The first and the last. What thou seest, write in a book, and send it into the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Samaria, unto Pergamos, unto Thyatira, unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. Watch this. I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. In other words, he just telling him what he's seen, and base. I mean, this is what he's seen. So watch what he says. Watch what he says. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he said, and he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. Watch what he's finna tell him. Let's key in on verse 19. Write these things which thou hast seen. That's past tense. What did he see? He's seen the vision up here. He's seen everything up here. He's seen him with this book that he was told to give to the church. He's seen all of these things. A vision of Christ. Then watch what he says. And the things which are. Watch this. And the things which shall be hereafter. We're going to establish what he means when he says hereafter in a minute. So we see right here he's told to write the things that thou hast seen. So he's writing the things that he's seen and he's told to write the things which are. Let's see what the things which are. He says, and unto the angel, where am I at? He said, unto the angel of the church of Ephesus, write these things, says he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. He's beginning to start to deal with the churches, because these are the things which are. That's what he's dealing with. Now watch this. Let's jump. Let's jump. Let's jump. So we dealing with all the churches here. That's what he's writing. That's what he's writing. So now I just established to y'all that he's told to write the things that he's seen, which was the vision. Then he's told to write the things which are, which was the church age or the churches in general. This is what we call the dispensation of grace, which is when the church or the Gentiles was allowed to come in basically and co-labor with the Jews or with the Israelites to help them preach the word. They are the ones who came into the vineyard and labored the last hour. And the Jews got mad at them, got to hating on them, matter of fact, too. They was putting in that word. It was like, we've been in this all this time, and you know, then you sit up there and let them come in and this and that, and you didn't pay them the same thing what you didn't pay us. He told them, hey, y'all agreed to get paid this much, and I'm giving y'all what y'all agreed upon. Why is y'all mad? You know what I'm saying? Then he told me, he say, and then he said, what did he tell him? He said, it's not what's mine I can do with my own. As long as you got what was yours, just go ahead on, basically. I'm just emphasizing on it, y'all know it. Watch what he says. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, in this chapter, right, these chapters are, everything that come after these chapters are either parentical. That means that they're parentical passages that deals with, you know, where they are in heaven, basically, and things are being said in heaven, and then you go down to earth, and things are being said on earth. It's just like you dealing with scenes in heaven and scenes on earth, basically. So we have the parentical passage just deals with the heavenly events, or basically these passages just deal with points to spaces and you know, where the author shows visions of stuff as it relates to certain things that's in heaven or on earth before the actual events or seals are being opened up, or, you know, just a pause between those times just as well. Watch what he says. And after this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up hither. Watch what he finna say. I will show thee things which must be hereafter. So remember, I told you he was told to write the things which be hereafter. So John is beginning to start to see all the things that must be after the things which are. So the things which are is the church. So after the church age, John is told to write the things which must be write the things which must be after the church age. When you deal with after the church age and you go to 2 Thessalonians 5, I believe I want to say 2 and 5, it says that something is withholding the man of sin. It is the church. The church must be taken up out of the way, which was the body of Christ, before the 7-year tribulation can go forth. Some people don't believe on that, but I can prove that. So, you know, it is what it is. If you notice, when you get to chapter 5 in Revelation, chapter 6, chapter 4, the things that must be hereafter, he's showing the church or a body of people that's in the heavens now. Look through it when you get a chance to. I can't go through it right now, but we will get the chance to go through it sometime in the future. All this chapter deals with the things that are taking place in the heavenly realms, which is what we call parenthetical passages. And then when you get to chapter 6, when you get to chapter 6, the opening of the seal reveals the Antichrist. So when we deal with the opening of the seals that reveal the Antichrist, it means the church must be taken. Then once the church is taken and they before the throne, then Yahushua begins to open up, or Jesus begins to open up the seal, and then the first seal is strapped around this book, because it's a book and it has 7 seals strapped around it. So in order for the contents of that book to be revealed, the first buckle is taken off and the Antichrist is revealed. Now remember, we just talked about him over in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5, when it says that he can only be revealed until something is moved out the way. The church has to be moved out the way, and then once they are moved out the way, then the buckle of that thing is opened up, and then he's revealed. I just wanted to bring that out. Anybody can contest that, but you know, it is what it is. So let's go on. Back to 11. I'm gonna show y'all what I did. Why I did what I did. So watch this. And there was given me a reed. I did this because I want to show you that all of these chapters that come, that John is being shown, is the things that must come hereafter. This is not anything historical. These are things that must come hereafter, that John is being showed after the church age. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and an angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God. Understand this, there will be a third temple. There will be a third temple. For we see in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5, it says that the lawless one, or the man of sin, the one who will oppose God, will sit in this temple and say that he is God in the temple of God. Understand that. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5, I believe. Once again, keep calling that scripture out. If you get a chance to, go to it and check it out. And measure the temple of God and the altar. So he said measure the temple of God and the altar. Now remember, we talked about in Daniel chapter 9 and verse 27 that the oblations will cease because of desolations that's going to be poured on the altar. The oblations consist of the morning and the evening oblations. These were daily oblations that was done in Israel, that was established. And them that worship therein. So he said, measure the temple of God and them that worship therein. Remember, this is just like as if John was told to, a reed was given to John to measure the temple that descended down from heaven. So so he's telling you that there is going to be a temple, even though these people at this time do not believe in the Messiah and they wicked as can be. They're going to build this temple. And the measure of the temple of God and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out. In other words, the court that is without the temple, leave that out. Watch what he's finna say. And measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall thy tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. Now remember, I told y'all already that 3.5 years, right? I told y'all already that there's going to be 3.5 years, right? And I mean, that's going to be a total of 7 years. And in the midst of one of those, in the midst of that 7 year, the Antichrist or the man of sin is going to break his agreement with these people, and he's going to come into that temple. And we're going to show you that, right? But during this time, the first 3.5 years, they are protected. But in the midst of in that period of the 3.5 years, they are protected from the prophets or the two witnesses. After that, after these witnesses are killed and they resurrected in 3 days before everybody's eyes, the Antichrist or the beast is going to definitely make war on these people. He's going to come into this temple. That's when he's going to break his agreement in the midst of that period. Just wanted to show that real quick. There's 42 and 2 months. It says, and it says, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city should thou tread under foot 40 and 2 months. And watch this. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they should prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. They're gonna get it in. Watch this. Let's jump and do something real quick. I want to jump down here real quick. It says, and they heard, 13. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of that city fell. We talking about Jerusalem here. We ain't talking about Israel. We talking about Jerusalem here. The 10th part of the city of Jerusalem fell. In the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. 7,000 people slain in the earthquake. Watch what he finna say. And the remnant were frightened. That means the people that was in that land, possibly the people that was in that land that the priest was doing the oblations for, and gave glory to the God of heaven. There is a remnant in Israel right now, in Jerusalem, in the city, and they're going to build that temple. Watch this. So let's jump back to Daniel. I just want to show y'all that real quick. Jump back to Daniel 9:27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the covenant week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblations to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate even until the consummation or the end of the 70 weeks, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Watch this. Let's jump to Matthew 24 and 15. That's what it is, I believe. Watch what he says. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached into all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then shall the end come. Watch this. When ye therefore shall see the abominations of desolations, underline this right here, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Now watch this. Let me help y'all out with this. The book of Revelations was written in 90 AD up under Domitian, who was leading people to different parts, to prisons and our islands, especially Patmos, right? So watch this, Patmos. Watch this. Jesus is reciting back. Remember, Matthew 24 deals with 70 AD, and also, which the question was asked, matter of fact, let's jump to it. And he said upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? So 3 things. Jesus was talking about the stone. That the stone was going to be thrown down, so he's dealing with the temple. So they asked, when should these things be thrown down? The stones that you talked about of the temple. So then he says, not just relating to that, there's going to be desolations after 70 AD on to the end. He says, and what shall the sign of thy coming? So in other words, he's going to deal with when 70 AD is going to take place. He's going to deal with the sign of his coming, also his literal coming, and of the end of the world, the end of the consummation. So watch what he says. When he gets down here to 15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. In other words, he's pointing back to Daniel about an abomination of desolation that should take place in the future. Now, most people was going to tell you this happened in 70 AD. Not so. because you would need to tell me who actually committed the abomination of desolations that was talked about in, watch this, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Whoso opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. We just went to Revelation 11, we jumped to 24, then we jumped to Daniel, and now we see that in Thessalonians that this guy, watch this, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. We showed you that he's revealed in Revelation chapter 6 and 1, when the seal is opened up. Once that seal is opened up, guess what? That first horder starts riding. And let's see who he is. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, and it as it were the noise of a thunder, and one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth to conquering and to conquer. Let's not get this twisted. This is not Christ right here. Christ come out with a two-edged sword in the latter chapters of Revelations, not with no bow in his hand. This is part of the horsemen that ride, and they bring chaos with them. And when this is a dictator right here. This is the one that's going to make peace. And when he opened up the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. This red horse that comes in is watch what he's symbolic of. And power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Opposite of peace means war. And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So after this dictator comes in, he goes. Somebody need to mute their mic. After this dictator comes in, he goes forth to conquer, and he's conquering. And he does this by way of war, as we see. Somebody doing some heavily breathing. And he mute their mic. All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Let me see. Where are we at? All right, so look. He comes in. This dictator comes in. He comes in and brings war with him. The red horse, as we see, takes peace away from the earth. That one should kill each other and kill one another, which deal with war. Watch what follows with him. And when this is the second seal is open. And when he had opened up the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And when he had opened the fourth, I heard the voice. Matter of fact, let's stop right there, because as you see, the dictator comes out, war comes with him, he takes away peace from the earth. Then this right here talks about the measure of wheat. This deals with famine. This deals with commerce, resources being measured out. This is how you introduce the mark of the beast right here just as well too. If you control these things and these people need these things, they're going to take on this system or this beast system in order to eat. That's what they're going to do. And it says, And I heard a voice in the midst of the beast say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And oil and wine, people want to get drunk, I see, and deal with the oil. Oil is going to be a big thing of commerce in the later days. You know, we're going to talk about that. That's another thing we're going to see. Iraq and Islamic states dealing with trade of oil. It's going to be real big. That's going to be a real big marketing thing. It is now, and it's definitely going to be then. So, you know, we got to understand it, you know, that it has always been something that, you know, that helps out, that deals with war and all types of stuff. So watch this. So we see these things follow this dictator, right? Now watch what he says, which is the last seal. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." I looked, behold, with a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death and Hell. In other words, Death and Hell. This rider is to follow this is Death and Hell. Most riders say it's 3 riders, but I'm saying 5 actually. 5 riders. I mean, they say it's 4 riders, but I'm saying 5 riders because his last rider that rode with him was Hell, followed with him. And these are personified of basically, a place being put in, or separation taking place, basically, to put these dead bodies in, so to speak, or whatever. And you know what hell is, so you got that in the ancient texts, ancient Egyptian texts, and Egyptian texts, a moot waiting right there to devour you and throw your butt to the lake of fire, or you going to the field of reeds, or to the place what they call heaven or paradise. So same thing in the biblical text, and everybody got their stories of some type of separation, of where they're gonna be contained or tormented or live in paradise to handle eternal affairs in the next life. So let's just jump out of here. I just brought that out real quick to show y'all that this dictator is going to be revealed according to Second Thessalonians. This guy's the one who's going to sit in this temple right here. This is going to be built. Let's jump up out of here. Let's jump back to Daniel, and then we're going to finish up, because I see we got people on the panel. 9 and 27. So he says, and he should confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. In other words, for this thing to be established, understand this. You just ain't going to come up in Israel and think that you just going to downright just build a temple, and then the dome on the dome of the rock, and you got Islamics just dealing with that. It's going to be an all-out war. So it's going to have to be a dictator that's going to have to establish that and make peace between these both parties so they can build this temple. And it's gonna definitely happen. Agreement is gonna definitely happen, and a covenant is gonna be confirmed with many for 1 week. Not just Israel. This says with many for 1 week. Most people try to relate this to Christ, but this is not what this is talking about. Remember, Christ is already cut off at 483 years up top, and he can't establish the things he need to do, which is the 6 points in Daniel 24, 9 and 24. So watch this. And the oblations. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. And in the midst of the week, or in the midst of the 7-year covenant, he's going to break it. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices, or the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Remember I told y'all that in Israel, the oblation consists of morning and night, evening sacrifices. He's going to cause that to cease in that third temple. And he's coming in there after them in the midst of the week, 3.5 years. And for the overspreading of abomination, he shall make it desolate. The overspreading of his abomination, he gonna make that temple straight desolate, even into the consummation. The consummation deals with the 70 weeks. At the end of the 70 weeks, even into that point in time, he's gonna make that for the rest of 3.5 years. He's gonna make that terribly. It's gonna be waste. This is in the 3.5 years. This is the time when Israel is gonna flee off into Moab or either Edom and be protected by the Most High God, so to speak. And he's gonna bring them into the bonds of the covenant, because Israel is not in the bonds of the covenant right now. Matter of fact, he said in Daniel chapter 9 and 10, Romans chapter 9 and 10, he said he's going to turn ungodliness away from Israel. So we know he's got to turn ungodliness away from Israel. I'm not talking about all of Israel, but the majority of Israel is wicked. They have established government with the empires and with the government today, as they did back then. They always have done that. In the time of Romans, he said, they made his house. He came in there and told everything, knocked everything off the tables of the money exchanges and all of these things. He said, my father's house should be a house of prayer, but you have made this house into a den of thieves. This is why they wanted to. He realized this. They had started dealing with economics and politicians way back then. And so the Romans, that's why they wanted to get rid of Christ. That's why they said, if we get rid of him, and we can seize on his inheritance. But if this man said he king, the Romans going to come and take this place, because we ain't going to be doing business with them. They had got off into economics and politicians, as they have done again today. So and those are just the Jews that, you know what I'm saying, that that's in that land today. But you got Jews that scattered all over the world that don't really deal with that. Black Jews, white Jews, whatever Jews, Arab Jews, and we gonna you can see that in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? They spread everywhere. You black and you got the Jew blood in you and don't even know it. You know, because you had your blacks, you had your whites. You know, and most people look at it and be like, oh, well, some of us African, some of us is African, which it don't really matter. You know, it don't matter for real. But for the most part, some of us is not that. You know, this is bottom line. You know, some of y'all is related to those people. Y'all may not think it, but y'all is. And it says, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even into the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. We know that the Antichrist was going to be poured upon him. He himself is desolate because he makes things desolate. And we see that in the scriptures and Revelations, the vials is going to be poured upon them guys, and he's going to be thrown into the lake of fire just as well. Let me jump over to one more chapter, and then we're going to go on and open it all up. This is Daniel chapter. This king that comes forth in the latter days is personified as coming forth from the Grecian territory. In the latter days, most people have say it's Syria. He's a foreshadow. I mean, he's likened it to Antiochus. You know, he's Epiphanes. He's likened to him, but he's furious and he makes him look like child's play. Let me see, where is it at? Just to prove my point, and then we're going to open up. Let me see. And his power should be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy, he's going to put forth a policy. Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. We know the Antichrist going to cause stuff to prosper in his hand too when he's going to make the false image to come unto life. I guess he's going to put consciousness in the false image. That's what they trying to do now, y'all. Put consciousness of man into a false image to cause man to live forever. Because they know his body decay. So if his body keep on decaying, they want to take the consciousness of man and put it into a machine. I don't know. Might be the artificial intelligence that they're trying to create. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Remember, by peace he shall destroy many. Remember, in the next chapter we see that guy he makes a covenant, and he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. This ain't what I was looking for. Here it is right here. All right, here it is right here. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifices was taken away. And the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given unto him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and it prospered. And it says, then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto the certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So 2,300 days, 2,300 oblations, morning and evening sacrifices, and then the sanctuary is going to be cleansed. It's going to be, then once it's cleansed, they supposed to get the temple back up cleansed again, and after that fact, he comes, he hears word, the Antichrist hears word that he had beef in the north with the Gog and Magog. He go get them under control. Then he comes back to Israel, and then once he does that, that's when all that stop. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick. So hopefully it's clear on Daniel and how to break down them 70 weeks. It should be clear. I did it to clear so I can get. I probably need to do a little bit clearer, but I didn't go into a lot of things just for time's sake because it's going on 10 o'clock. But 24, 9 and 24. If you notice, I didn't really get off into these things. It says to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation of iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. I didn't get a chance to go into those things, but if you go into those things and understand what it's talking about, you will know Christ was cut off before he can even complete the entirety of those things. But he will establish and fulfill those things within the after the 7th week. Those things will be finished and fulfilled before the 7th weekend. So with that being said, the panel is open. If any one of you brothers or sisters want to speak out, you can do so. Let me stop this from sharing. All right.
Hey, can you hear me, bro?
What's going on, brother BA?
Shalom, Art. I want to ask you something about 2 Thessalonians. In 2 Thessalonians, when it talks about that man of sin, why don't you turn to it real quick?
Okay, I'm gonna go right to it.
And the temple. Now, I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, man. I've been looking at it, and I see something totally different when it talks about the temple. And I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense like I'm coming against you. It's just something that I'm looking at. If you look at temple in the Greek lexicon, or the Strong's rather, it's 30. I think it's 3480. Hold on, 3485. And this, I think the word is nanos, I believe, and that's like a metaphorical type temple.
No,
that's what it's talking about, according to the context.
Yeah, here it is, right here. You see it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says.
I'm looking at my Strong's right now.
Yeah, it says to dwell, fame, shrine, temple, compare.
Yeah, you can't go no further than that. I mean, that's as far as your Strong's goes. It doesn't have any more.
Let me see. It got
to back it up.
That's all they got right there. Strong's, and then it.
Because I was just something else.
Let me see something real quick too. That's that. Let me bring this out real quick. It says, "Whoso opposeth and exalteth himself above all things that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God." He's going to sit in the temple of God.
All right, hold on for a second. Let me go to it. I was just right there. Okay. Let me see real quick. And it says, was used among the heathen to denote the shrine or containing the idol. It's okay, hold on. And Christ as the shrine.
That's still on?
What you say, brother?
Nah, it just had got quiet. I wanted to know if y'all was still on. If my computer was on the script or something.
Yeah, I think he was looking at something, but let me bring out something real quick. Revelations 11 and 1. Let me bring out this again. It says, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God. This is the same temple that relates to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5. It says, and the altar and them that worship therein. Watch what he says. But the court which is without the temple leave out. So he's talking about the actual temple. And measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. In other words, they only given the portion of the temple, and those that are on the altar that worship therein. The outer part of that temple, he said, leave that out. Don't measure that, because it's given it to the Gentiles. They're gonna thread that down. And you know what's crazy about this is because this should let us know that Israel is going to get back possession fully of that Temple Mount. But but in getting possession of that Temple Mount, they're still gonna have some stuff going on in that land, because as it says that, but the court which is without the temple leave it out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall be tread upon the foot 40 and 2 months. And we know it's gonna be tread upon the foot 40 and 2 months because that's 3.5 years. So it's saying, basically what this saying is they're gonna get possession back of Israel, and once they get possession back of Israel to build this temple, the outer court and the city is still going to be the Gentiles. But he says measure those that worship in there. The Gentiles going to be in this is going to be in the outer court. Watch what they're going to be doing. Watch this, what they're going to be doing. And we know in order for them to build this temple, they definitely have to get possession of Jerusalem, or that Temple Mount. They definitely have to. Watch this. Watch what they finna be doing. They finna be, where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Here it is, right here, matter of fact. 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie, talking about the 2 witnesses, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is Jerusalem, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Understand why it's called Sodom and Egypt. Jerusalem will become a lot of homosexuality and faggotry. And it's going to be spiritually called Sodom, and then it's going to be called Egypt, because you know Egypt was so good with whoredoms of worshiping different netters. They worshiped, everything was a netter, from the forest to the wind. So this is why it says, where also our Lord was crucified. The most religious people on this earth that we seen that was religious to anybody on this earth was Egypt. Than anybody. They had more religion than anybody. They dealt with science, but they wasn't playing about their religion at all. And you know already that the black people that start ruling that place first, and it was in that place, black people is spiritual people. That's why this new age movement to where people are talking about spirituality and religion, we never did without it. We never did without it. When Norman and them came in, and you look at Norma and you look at the pharaohs, they had that religion right there. That religion, and they dealt with that science. They had it right there. Any ancient culture that we look at the sacrifice, they came with that religion, economics, and politics. That's how they come in. That's how conquerors come in. Religion, economics, and politics. That's what they take over after they come in through religion. Not saying that religion is bad, but all religion ain't good. Everybody's, hey, there's some religions out there that ain't good. Can you learn moral practices and moral concepts from religion? Definitely you can. But it says to sit down in that temple. Matter of fact, hold on for a minute. Let me show you how he causes the abomination of desolations. The beast just break down and just deal with the empires. That's what it deals with. And all of these empires is foreshadowed of something. This is like in some certain states, they emblem or is a bird or some type of form of creature or something like that. That's what the beast deal with, these different empires that ruled the world, the most greatest empires that controlled the world. It says, and the second beast caused an image to be made of the first. He caused the image to be made of the first. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now mind you not, these things is not these actually. This is not no actual lamb with horns. I just want to get that straight. You know what I'm saying? So people don't be thinking that's what that is. Remember, I just told y'all they use symbolisms of people as animals because of the certain actions that the animals had. So I don't want nobody to be thinking that something gonna come up out of there with some horns. Now, do you have some creatures that's gonna be in the biblical text and Revelations that we ain't never seen before that's gonna rise up on this earth? Most definitely, yes. When you deal with certain locusts and certain things, like yeah, you definitely gonna have them rising up. When you dealing with this is not what that is talking about. And he doth great wonders, that he make a fire to come down from heaven. Remember we read over in Revelations, he gonna make craft to prosper on from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. And he deceived them to dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Y'all know there are some things that can't be explained that y'all ain't seen yet, but they show us every day in our movies. If y'all think them people sitting back there in the background with all that money and they rich and they got all of them all the resources and controlling it through politicians, y'all, these people is back there. These people be sacrificing to humans, sacrificing animals, different things. And these people are receiving knowledge from deities or intelligent beings. Y'all say that's spooky, but y'all better understand these people have been caught doing these things. They already got money. Most people say, well, why is they doing it? They doing it because they know what come behind it, because they know the ancestors did it. The ancestors did it. When you look at African spirituality, if you say you're African, the Africans would do certain things, spiritual concepts, to cause entities or deities to possess their bodies to receive knowledge. Think I'm lying? Look it up. And these deities or entities are nothing but demonic forces and fallen beings. Yeah, it can get real spooky with me because I know it's true. You got rich people that's been caught doing these things. Government doing these things. You got ancient tablets that's speaking on these things about them receiving knowledge from distant ones or from fallen ones. Every time you look at an ancient culture, the first thing they say is talking about sky daddies, talking about how the people from the sky came down and gave them knowledge. The Dogon, the Egyptians, when they talk about Tahuti and the seven sages that come with them, or Heru, which is the distant one, the one from afar. Y'all better understand that. In Mesopotamia, the sages, they all have the same story, and they're saying that someone that is from outside of Earth, that's from these stars from these other planets, these solar systems, came to them and gave them knowledge. Every ancient culture has that same story. Check it out. Think I'm lying? Over in America, it's the same way. No different. Over in Europe, the same way. They may have perverted the stories, but they all have the same story. Everybody dealing with gods that came down and made demigods. Look it up. Why is these people saying these things? The concept of God predates atheism. What does God mean? To invoke or call upon, or to sacrifice to. When you trace the etymology of it. But we'll say, oh, this is myth, but these people sacrificing to these things. You think them people throwing their kids in the fire for no reason? They still sacrifice in Europe. They still sacrificing in Uganda right now, sacrificing kids and doing all types of dances across the ground and spreading grease on their foreheads, whatever they spread, and doing all types of heathen worship. Search it out. Love the people, but when y'all get to killing kids and doing all this stuff, it's crazy. Same thing in Europe. All types of heathen practices dealing with homosexuality, and they took on the priest of this in Egypt. They took them priests back into Egypt. When you came and conquered the nation, if you seen somebody that was of value, that had knowledge, you took them people with you. I know one thing, y'all better stop saying that these people wasn't reading and writing too. That's a lie. That they wasn't writing, that's a lie. Them Europeans and them Arabs or them Easterns, man, they always was always. The first thing you do is, if you want to communicate with somebody else, is you gonna write something on the ground. Whether it's a pictorial or whatever it is, they was writing. That mentality, or that Afrocentric mentality that we got to say that these people wasn't writing, that's a lie. Them people always been writing. Matter of fact, when you look even at the Hyksos period, when them people came in, when the Asiatics came in, these people came in with science. That's how they overtook Egypt. They came in with science. And make it so bad, once Egypt came back up from the south and finally got it back after 100 years, and truth be told, when you look at Atmos, I've been studying something that the Hyksos made an agreement to leave that land. They didn't drive them out like that. That's what Egypt wants you to believe in. But I got other resources that saying otherwise. They made an agreement to get them Hyksos up out that land. Because them Hyksos came in there with chariots, and they came in there with science, and Kemet didn't have that like that. They had science, but they didn't have what they had. Remember, when the first chariot that we find is in Mesopotamia. The first formation of war and lining up to go to war is in Mesopotamia. These people was geared for war, and these people would die for what they believe in. And the same people we see them today. The Arabs, the Iranians, Persians, those people will blow you up strapped with a bomb on them. How many black people you gonna see do that? How many white people you gonna see do that? You ain't gonna see that. But these people will blow you up and blow themselves up and their kids up. They trained to fight. When Kemet was making them pear-shaped maces, they came with a better mace and a better weapon is going to win that war if that person not to use that weapon. They came with hammocks to protect their heads from those maces. They came with shields. Y'all better look at that. Y'all better look up into Europe. They did the same thing. Them Hittites, they came down looking like Trojans with them bandanas on their heads. Look at the Hittite treaty over at the walls of Karnak. Egypt didn't want to mention that, though. They didn't want to mention that. Egypt don't want to mention that. They had to make a treaty with them boys, because if they didn't, they was going to get slaughtered. And eventually they did. The Asiatics came in, and once they came in, then we came to the Grecian Empire. The Greeks was coming. They was always there. They was coming. They was getting up on their knowledge, getting up on the game, getting their weaponry together, and they came in, they took over the Asiatics, and they've been doing it ever since then. Now, But eventually, as y'all see, the Asiatics is getting back strong again. Only thing they need is a superpower behind them. Russia finna help them out do that. China also finna help them out, which is in Asia. Y'all better look at them warships that been coming over close to America. Think it's a game. Islam got that oil. Them Arabs got that oil, and they finna work that oil. They finna do commerce. Matter of fact, let me take y'all to something real quick and show y'all how they gonna work that oil. Let me show y'all something. Watch this. They gonna move that oil, and they gonna trade, and everybody gonna trade. Matter of fact, when you look at, when y'all get a chance to Google arrangements made with Iraq and the Arab for oil, and watch how much money China spent, and also watch how much money did Russia spend. Y'all gonna be surprised. I ain't playing no games out here. Watch this. Let me show y'all something. Show y'all something real quick. Where is it? I think it's 18. I'm tripping. 18. Watch this. Watch this. Let's jump to 18 and 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously, I look out, my tongue ain't with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her fire. This is the city of Babylon. This is modern day. This Babylon is Iraq, and she know it. Watch this. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet. Look, this is commerce right here. This is, if you don't see this as commerce, watch this. And all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments, and frankincense and wine and oil, and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of man. Come on, man. Watch this. Let's jump up. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and say, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches shall come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? This is a city. This is not no country. This is a city. This is not no continent. So it's not America. I just wanted to bring that out. The trade center, the real trade center, used to be called the Fertile Crescent, was actually Iraq, Mesopotamia, and Shinar. That was your trade center. That's where the Tower of Babel took place at too. That's what Nebuchadnezzar Nebuchadnezzar wanted to rebuild it, and then also Saddam Hussein. He said he wanted to rebuild Tower of Babel because said he was Nebuchadnezzar. So that's why they're trying to start the Islamic State, so they can control the oil and stop the political movement between the other European Union and the other states, and the Arabs is trading with them, which is Arabia. They want Arabia to stop trading with these guys, and they serious about it. So they putting forth Islamic states to stop America from trading like that. Stop the Arabs from trading their oil and trading different things with these UN and Europeans and these other Asiatics and stuff like that, and Americans. I just wanted to bring that out. You know, I'm finished though. I'm finna. Hey, I brought out what needed to be brought out. Yeah, man. So I guess we finna go on, get on up off of here, man, and end this show because I gotta work tomorrow. I appreciate y'all coming out. Sister Love, appreciate you. She always come out and support. And brother Wayne, brother Kenya Shower, God I am, he always come out. You know, and for the viewers that I see that's looking in, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying, for viewing it. With that being said, we finna go on and sign up out of here. I just want to say peace to everybody out there. If anybody got any questions about anything, you can always reach me at LaRon498 at gmail.com. LaRon498 at gmail.com, or you can reach me on Facebook, which is LaRon G Consciousness Campbell, or you can reach me in my Facebook page, which is Bust the Bible Like a Rifle. And then you can reach me in other groups, Talk of the Titans. You know, I'm mainly in there a lot. And what else? YouTube page, Google Plus. We're here right now, Hangouts. You can reach me through here. If you want to see a couple of more of my shows, click the subscribe button down below. Subscribe to the page. Look at a couple of them videos if you like them. You know, or you got questions, or if you want to, debate them or whatever, you can always just, hit me up, So with that being said, I just want to say peace to everybody out there, and everybody have a great evening.